When you hear the word no, most people shrink back. They take it as a personal attack, a sign that the door has been closed permanently, that their ideas or efforts have been rejected outright. But the truth is, that little two-letter word is one of the most powerful instruments for growth, transformation, and redirection that life gives you. No is not the end of your journey. It is the compass that redirects you to another path. When someone says no to your proposal, to your idea, to your dream, what they are really saying is, not here, not this way, not at this time. And if you have the eyes to see it, that no becomes a guidepost pointing you towards something better, something greater, something you would not have discovered if the first door had flung open too easily. You must understand that perception is everything. If you perceive no as rejection, you stop, you lose momentum. You let the word carry weight it doesn't deserve. But if you perceive no as redirection, you keep moving, you refine your vision, you sharpen your approach, you open your mind to new possibilities that were invisible a moment before. Life is not about how many times you hear yes. It is about how many times you are willing to hear no and still continue forward. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, every innovator, every leader, every entrepreneur has collected more no's than yeses. They have been told they can't, they shouldn't, it's impossible, it won't work. They have been laughed at, doubted, and underestimated. But they didn't buy into those rejections as final verdicts. They perceived them as temporary stops on a much larger journey. That shift in perception is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. When one investor says no, another will say yes. When one idea fails, another rises in its place. When one path closes, a hidden trail emerges. The no is never the enemy, it is the teacher, and the way you choose to perceive it determines whether you stay stuck or move forward. Most people let their emotions cloud their perception. They feel discouraged, humiliated, or defeated by a rejection. But the wise recognize that emotions are fleeting, while vision is permanent. Your dream does not disappear just because someone else doesn't believe in it. Your worth is not diminished because someone cannot see it. A no doesn't define you, it refines you, just like crude oil goes through a process of refinement to become valuable. Your journey is refined by the fire of rejection. Every no burns away a layer of doubt. Every no forces you to grow tougher, sharper, more creative, more determined. And over time, those repeated rejections polish you into a force that cannot be ignored. Perception is the lens through which you see reality. If you see rejection as a closed door, you feel trapped. But if you see it as a signal pointing you toward another door, suddenly you are empowered. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstance. You become a seeker of opportunities. The person who perceives no as a challenge will always outlast the person who perceives it as an ending. Life is full of filters, obstacles, and gatekeepers, but they are not there to block you. They are there to prepare you. The no's you face today are strengthening your resilience for the bigger yeses waiting tomorrow. Even nature teaches us this principle. Seeds don't grow in sunlight alone. They need the resistance of soil to sprout. Muscles don't strengthen without resistance. They grow through struggle, through weight, through tension. In the same way, your dreams are not realized in the absence of rejection. They are forged in the fire of it. The resistance is what makes you ready. The struggle is what makes you capable. The no is the tension that builds your strength. So when life says no, don't shrink back. Don't let your perception label it as the end. Instead, say to yourself, this is the soil, this is the weight, This is the tension that will help me grow stronger. When your perception changes, everything changes. Suddenly, the investor's rejection feels like an opportunity to refine your pitch. The customer's refusal feels like a chance to understand your market better. The job you didn't get becomes the open space for something more aligned to enter. The friend who walked away creates space for deeper relationships. The health setback that slowed you down forces you to value life more deeply. It's not what happens that defines you, it's how you perceive it. The same no that one person calls the end, another person calls the beginning. The world is full of people waiting for approval, waiting for validation, waiting for permission. But if you live waiting for yes, you will live small. You must become the kind of person who doesn't flinch when life says no, who doesn't collapse under pressure, who knows that every rejection is simply a recalibration toward a greater result. Once your perception shifts, rejection becomes fuel, it becomes data, it becomes a gift, and the more no's you collect, the closer you are to the yes that changes everything. Your mind is the most powerful marketplace you will ever own. Before any idea, product, or business can succeed in the outside world, it must first succeed inside your imagination. Just as raw oil must go through a process of refining before it becomes valuable, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs must be refined before they can create meaningful results in your life. If crude oil is left unrefined, it remains sticky, heavy, and unusable in its raw state. In the same way, if your thoughts remain negative, scattered, and unshaped, they will weigh you down rather than lift you up. The refining process is what turns something common into something precious, and your mind is capable of the exact same transformation when you discipline it to direct energy, focus, and belief toward growth instead of fear. Think about the power of the mind when it is left untrained. A single negative thought, if entertained long enough, multiplies into self-doubt, procrastination, and hesitation. It is like untreated crude oil spilling everywhere, messy and wasteful. But once that same thought is refined, once you take control of it, challenge it, replace it with an empowering belief, it becomes fuel. It becomes energy that propels you forward. Your entire life is being run by the refinery of your thinking. Every result you see outside of yourself is a reflection of the quality of thoughts you allow inside yourself. If you tell yourself constantly, "I can't," then your mind shuts down possibilities before they even arrive. But if you refine that thought into, "I can, and I will find a way," then suddenly new paths open, new ideas appear, and your energy shifts toward creation instead of defeat. Every business empire, every innovation, every great achievement started first as a thought in someone's mind. Long before the skyscraper touched the clouds, it was a picture in the architect's imagination. Long before technology connected billions of people across continents, it was a possibility someone dared to refine in their mind until it became reality. If the mind creates your market, then the quality of your thoughts determines the size of your opportunities. Small thoughts create small opportunities. Limited beliefs create limited results. Expansive thinking, bold imagination, and refined focus create empires. It is easy to let the outer world dictate the inner world. News, criticism, and setbacks can cloud the mind just like impurities cloud raw oil. If you do not filter and refine what you allow inside, you will carry the weight of other people's fears and doubts. But when you learn to discipline your mind, you stop absorbing every negative influence, and instead You choose what thoughts deserve your energy. Refinement is a conscious act. Just as oil goes through heat, pressure, and filtering, your mind also must go through the heat of discipline, the pressure of consistency, and the filtering of focus. You must deliberately remove the mental impurities, fear, doubt, worry, jealousy, resentment, and replace them with clarity, gratitude, determination, and vision. Your mind does not just create markets in business. It creates the market of your relationships, your health, your confidence, and your destiny. If you believe opportunities are scarce, you will live in scarcity. If you believe people cannot be trusted, you will only find betrayal. If you believe the world is unfair, you will always feel like a victim. But if you refine your thoughts to believe opportunities are everywhere, you will see doors where others see walls. If you believe people can be good, you will attract loyalty and kindness. If you believe the world is abundant, you will find yourself creating wealth where others see lack. The market you live in every day is built by the beliefs you allow to dominate your mind. And here is the secret. Refining the mind is not a one-time process, it is ongoing. Oil must continually be processed to meet demand. Your thoughts must continually be shaped to meet the demands of your vision. One day of positivity is not enough to change a life. You must build a daily ritual of refining your thinking, of catching yourself when negativity rises, of redirecting your focus when distractions tempt you. Discipline is the refining fire of the mind. Without discipline, even the best ideas remain wasted potential. With discipline, even ordinary ideas can be transformed into extraordinary outcomes. When you look at the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who settle for mediocrity, it is not always intelligence, talent, or resources. More often, it is the ability to refine the inner marketplace of thought. One person sees failure as the end, the other refines it into feedback. One person sees rejection as humiliation, the other refines it into redirection. One person sees struggle as proof they are not cut out for success, the other refines it into strength. The difference is not in the events, but in the mind that interprets them. The beautiful truth is that your mind is unlimited in its ability to refine reality. You can take anger and turn it into action. You can take disappointment and turn it into determination. You can take envy and turn it into inspiration. Just like the refinery takes crude matter and extracts gasoline, kerosene, and jet fuel, your mind can extract lessons, wisdom, and fuel from every experience you go through. The key is your willingness to master perception and discipline your focus. If you allow life to just pour into you without refining it, you will feel stuck, heavy, and wasted. But if you become intentional with your thinking, you can transform every raw experience into energy that moves you forward. Destiny is not carved in stone. It is not some fixed script handed down to you without your consent. Destiny is like wet clay. It takes the shape of the hands that mold it. Most people live under the illusion that their future is predetermined, that they have no power to alter the course of their lives, that whatever circumstances they were born into are the boundaries of their possibilities. But the truth is that destiny bends the moment you bend your beliefs and your actions. The world may hand you obstacles, challenges, setbacks, or disappointments, but none of these things are a final verdict on who you are or what you can become. What looks like an obstacle is often a stepping stone in disguise, and what feels like the end is often the beginning of a different and more powerful journey. Think of every moment in history when someone defied the odds. The individual who was told they would never succeed, the inventor whose idea was dismissed, the child who grew up in poverty but rose to unimaginable heights. What did they all have in common? They refused to treat destiny as fixed. They looked at the apparent limitations, and instead of saying, "This is the end," they said, "This is where I begin to write my own story." They understood that the power to change course lies within, that destiny is nothing more than the reflection of repeated choices, repeated beliefs, and repeated actions. If you change the way you think, you change the way you act. If you change the way you act, you change the results you experience. And those results, accumulated over time, shape the very destiny you once believed was locked. Life will always present you with obstacles that appear immovable. But here is the key. The obstacle is not there to block your destiny. It is there to reveal your strength. Just as mountains force rivers to carve valleys and find new paths, obstacles force you to dig deeper, to grow stronger, to expand your vision beyond what you thought possible. If there were no obstacles, there would be no growth. If there were no resistance, there would be no breakthrough. The very thing that feels like a blockade to your dream may be the training ground that prepares you for it. What others call misfortune can be the exact experience that develops the resilience you need to carry success. What others call failure can be the exact refinement that makes you unstoppable. Destiny bends under the weight of belief. If you believe you are powerless, you will act powerless, and your life will reflect that belief. If you believe you are capable, you will act with confidence, and your life will expand to mirror that energy. Belief is not a weak wish, it is the blueprint for action. A mind convinced of its worth will take risks, seize opportunities, and keep going when others stop. A mind trapped in doubt will hesitate, procrastinate, and settle for less. The secret is that both minds create their own reality, and both realities eventually appear as destiny. You can look at two people raised in the same environment. One rises, one falls. The difference is not fate. The difference is the belief they carried about themselves. Your actions are the physical expression of your inner vision. Every small choice you make is like a thread woven into the fabric of your future. Skip enough small opportunities and the fabric looks thin. Seize enough small chances and the fabric becomes rich and unbreakable. Most people wait for destiny to show itself in grand moments, but it is shaped in the daily discipline of thought, focus, and action. Destiny bends not because of one giant event, but because of 1,000 small decisions that accumulate until suddenly the direction of your life is unrecognizable from where you started. It is easy to blame external forces for the shape of your life: governments, economies, parents, bosses, or circumstances. But every time you blame the outside world, you surrender your power. When you reclaim responsibility, you reclaim the ability to bend destiny. Circumstances may not be your choice, but your response to them always is. That is why two people can face the same difficulty, and one becomes defeated while the other becomes determined. It is not the situation that defines the outcome. It is the mindset and the decision that follows. The bend in destiny comes the moment you choose a different response than the one you've always given. The most powerful truth about destiny is that it never arrives fully formed. It is continuously created, moment by moment. You may feel stuck in a cycle, repeating old patterns, But the instant you decide to think differently, act differently, and commit to a new path, the cycle breaks. You don't need permission to change your future. You don't need the world to approve. You don't need the perfect resources lined up. You only need to begin. A single shift in belief, a single change in perspective, a single decision to rise instead of retreat can set in motion a chain of events that alter your entire life trajectory. The reason most people never bend destiny is because they underestimate the power of small beginnings. They think change must be massive and instant, so they do nothing when they cannot do everything. But the truth is, destiny bends under the smallest of consistent pressures. A river does not cut through rock in one day. It shapes it over centuries with constant flow. In the same way, your repeated actions, your repeated affirmations, your repeated decisions to keep moving forward, even when progress feels invisible, are what carve the path to a different life. Every difficulty that appears in your life carries a message. Problems are not punishments, they are signals. They arrive to reveal something about yourself, to show you where you must grow, to guide you toward a better path. Yet, most people, when confronted with resistance, respond with frustration, anger, or despair. They see struggle as proof that they are failing, as confirmation that life is unfair, as a reason to stop trying. But if you shift your perception, if you look deeper, you realize that resistance is not a wall, but a doorway. Renewal begins where resistance challenges you the most. The things you want are hidden behind the problems you are unwilling to face, and the life you dream of emerges only when you learn to transform pain, rejection, and negativity into growth. Think about the way the human body works. Muscles grow only under resistance. Without weight, without tension, without effort, the muscle stays weak. It is the push against resistance, the burn, the strain, that signals the muscle to grow stronger, denser, more capable. Your mind and spirit operate the same way. Resistance in life, the failures, the disappointments, the betrayals, the delays, are the weights you must lift if you are to grow. When you feel the pressure, when everything seems heavy, when you are pushed beyond your comfort zone, that is life signaling to you. Here lies your opportunity to become more than you were yesterday. Without resistance, there is no renewal, there is only stagnation. Pain is another signal. Most people run from it, numb it, or hide it. But pain is not an enemy. Pain is an alarm clock ringing to wake you up. Emotional pain points to the beliefs you need to let go of. Mental pain shows you where your thinking is holding you back. Physical pain reveals where you must care for yourself better. Instead of cursing pain, listen to it. It speaks the language of transformation. It does not come to destroy you. It comes to strip away what no longer serves you so that you can step into a new version of yourself. Pain refines you the same way fire refines gold. The fire is uncomfortable, but without it, the gold stays covered in impurities. You cannot avoid the fire and still expect to shine. Rejection also has its role when people say no. To you, when opportunities slip through your hands, when doors close, it is tempting to label yourself as unworthy or unlucky. But rejection is not the universe's way of humiliating you. It is its way of redirecting you. Each rejection is a filter, separating you from what is not aligned with your true path. If every door opened, you would wander aimlessly into rooms that were never meant for you. But when one closes, it forces you to step back, reconsider, and adjust your direction until you find the door that leads exactly where you are meant to be. Rejection is not the end of opportunity. It is the compass pointing toward the opportunity that truly belongs to you. Negative thoughts are signals too. They are not proof that you are weak or destined to fail. They are simply indicators that your mind has drifted into old patterns, into unrefined thinking, into habits that no longer serve your vision. When you catch yourself in negativity, instead of fighting it with shame, recognize it as a signal. It is telling you that you have outgrown a certain way of thinking, that it is time to upgrade the belief that powers your actions. Every time you shift from a negative thought to a more empowering one, you renew your mind. That renewal compounds, and soon the very thoughts that once dragged you down become stepping stones to lift you higher. Transformation always begins with resistance. Imagine the caterpillar inside its cocoon. From the outside, it looks trapped, as though it is stuck in a prison of silk. But the cocoon is not a prison. It is the very environment where transformation takes place. The struggle to break free is not a cruel design. It is necessary. Without pushing, without straining, the butterfly would never develop the strength in its wings to fly. If someone tried to cut the cocoon open early, the butterfly would emerge weak, unable to survive. The resistance is what prepares it for flight. In the same way, your cocoon of difficulty is shaping you. Your struggles are developing wings inside you. And when the time comes, the strength you built will carry you into a life of freedom. When you change your relationship with resistance, everything in your life changes. You stop seeing obstacles as punishments and start seeing them as preparations. You stop cursing the storm and start realizing it is watering the seeds you planted long ago. You stop wishing for an easy path and start appreciating the strength that comes from walking a difficult one. Renewal is born out of resistance because resistance forces you to grow into someone new. The problems you face are invitations to evolve. They are not there to prove you are weak. They are there to prove how strong you can become once you decide to rise above them. Energy is the invisible currency that determines the outcome of everything you do. It is not just about the resources you have, the opportunities you are given, or the products you are working with. Two people can hold the same opportunity in their hands, but the one who approaches it with high energy, belief, and determination will succeed, while the one who approaches it with doubt, fear, or laziness will fail. Energy is more powerful than skill, because skill without energy is lifeless. Energy is more powerful than knowledge, because knowledge without energy remains unused. Energy is the force that animates your actions, the vibration that attracts circumstances, and the invisible magnet that pulls people toward you or pushes them away. When you walk into a room, people sense your energy before you even speak. It shows in the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you carry yourself. If your energy radiates confidence and enthusiasm, people respond with trust and interest. If your energy is low, drained, and uncertain, people sense it instantly and they pull back. The same principle applies to everything in life. The energy you bring to your relationships determines whether they thrive or decay. The energy you bring to your work determines whether you advance or remain stuck. The energy you bring to your dreams determines whether they stay fantasies or become reality. Your outer world is always mirroring your inner energy. If you carry frustration, resentment, or fear, you will see it reflected back to you in the form of closed doors, conflicts, and missed opportunities. But if you cultivate energy rooted in gratitude, optimism, and determination, you will notice how quickly new opportunities align, how easily people are drawn to help you, how naturally ideas and solutions flow. Life responds not to what you say you want, but to the energy you consistently project. You cannot speak abundance while radiating scarcity and expect results. You cannot speak confidence while radiating insecurity and expect people to believe in you. Your energy and your words must align, and when they do, the world bends in your favor. The most successful individuals are not always the most intelligent, but they are often the most energetic. They understand that energy is contagious, that when they radiate passion, it ignites others. Teams don't follow instructions, they follow energy. Customers don't just buy products, they buy the energy behind them. Leaders don't inspire by title alone, they inspire through the power of their presence. Every great movement, every shift in history, every invention that shaped humanity was fueled by energy that could not be ignored. That is the unseen difference between mediocrity and greatness. The challenge is that energy is easily drained if you are not intentional. Negative thinking is an energy leak. Complaining is an energy leak. Surrounding yourself with people who constantly doubt, criticize, or drag you down is an energy leak. Every thought, every word, every association is either fueling you or draining you. To protect your energy is to protect your future. Just as you would not pour water into a leaking bucket, you cannot pour your time into negativity and expect to stay powerful. You must learn to guard your energy as your most valuable asset. Energy is not fixed, it is generated. Too many people believe they must feel motivated before they act. But the truth is that energy is produced by action itself. Motion creates emotion. The moment you begin moving, the moment you take the first step, the moment you act with intention, energy rises. Waiting for energy is a trap, because waiting keeps you stagnant. The secret is to create rituals that generate energy daily through movement, through gratitude, through focus, through consistent action. When you build habits that raise your energy, you stop depending on external motivation and begin living from an internal power source that cannot be taken away. Another truth about energy is that it multiplies through focus. Scattered energy produces scattered results. When your mind is distracted, when your attention is divided, your energy leaks into 100 directions, and you feel exhausted without achieving anything meaningful. But when your energy is concentrated on one vision, one mission, one goal, it becomes unstoppable. Just as sunlight scattered does little, but focused through a magnifying glass can start a fire, your energy becomes powerful when directed with clarity. The reason many never see breakthrough is not because they lack energy, but because they disperse it everywhere instead of channeling it into one purpose. Your energy is also shaped by your environment. Place yourself in an environment of doubt and limitation, and your energy will sink to match it. Place yourself in an environment of growth, belief, and possibility, and your energy will rise to new levels. This is why you must be deliberate about the spaces you occupy, the people you allow near, and the influences you absorb daily. You are not a machine running on fuel. You are a living being running on vibration, and every environment either lifts your vibration higher or drags it lower. The key is to become aware of the energy you are carrying and projecting. Ask yourself in every moment, what am I radiating right now? Am I radiating fear or faith? Am I radiating scarcity or abundance? Am I radiating confidence or doubt? Life is always responding to that vibration. When you radiate with conviction, The world cannot ignore you. When you radiate with passion, you magnetize opportunities that others call luck. When you radiate with resilience, obstacles seem smaller and solutions appear faster. The energy you bring is the ultimate determining factor, because while skills can be taught and resources can be acquired, energy is the one thing that cannot be faked for long. It is either alive within you or it is not, and the quality of your life reflects it endlessly.